and good afternoon to everyone. I'm very happy to share to you about Trent Global College here in Singapore. We're having such nice and rainy weather here right now, so I'm a little bit coated up. Hi everyone, I'm here to represent Trent Global College. We are one of the private educational institutions here in Singapore. There are only 300 institutions approved by Singapore government, and only 100 of us have the EduTrust seal. So EduTrust is basically a certification scheme allowing us to bring in international students. It basically will state that you are a good institution or a recognized institution. We're able to bring in international students. We're able to bring out our curriculum into the world, and we're able to bring in international partnerships, such as university partners from UK, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, and all of these different countries. So why Singapore? I'm not sure if you've had any other speakers from Singapore today. I've seen speakers from Thailand, speakers from Malaysia. These are all amazing destinations. And of course, I would always tell any student who has the opportunity to step overseas to please do it, because these opportunities will not always be available. So I'm here today to promote Singapore and to promote Trent Global College. So why Singapore? For those of you who have not been to Singapore, here are some of the imagery around the country. And actually, you can see them from our campus here at Trent Global College. Our Singapore Zoo is one of the most popular ones in the world, mainly because it's so clean and all of the animals are very well kept. Sentosa. Chinatown, this is where we are right now. So what are the benefits of studying in Singapore? First of all, we've already surpassed Japan from the last rankings to be the world's safest city. We have the lowest crime rate in Southeast Asia. We have very, very strict laws, strict regulations. So you will know that if you're an international student, you won't get that, the fear of if you are parents here and sending your children, you won't have the fear of the safety of your children. As for any international student, if it's the first time traveling overseas, you want that safety and security. Of course, we are multinational, multicultural. So Singapore is a mix of different cultures, different races. We have people from all over the world. We're a melting pot of culture. So we have basically Asia. In Asia, we're known to be the East meets West. We are known to be a garden city. So even if we are very, very small, Singapore is so tiny, we still do have a lot of nature, despite being very, very highly developed. In my slide, I mentioned here that we are affordable, but if you go to any article, they're going to say that Singapore is one of the most expensive cities in the world. To a sense, that is true. However, let me show you later on how we can break it down and how we will be one of the most affordable programs in this webinar today. Then Singapore's population. So Singapore, as I mentioned, is very, very small, but we do have an aging population, which means that for every 3 people that's leaving the workforce, we are only having 1 person replacing them. And as such, we have a manpower crunch, which means that we are relying heavily on technology and we need a lot of foreign talent. For student visas, this is one of the things that a lot of these different institutions today have discussed. Singapore is probably one of the easiest application processes in this entire webinar, mainly because we only need 5 documents. Number 1 would be your passport. Number 2 would be your birth certificate. Number 3 would be your educational qualifications and transcripts. Number 4, your CV, if you have it. And number 5, a photo. And just with these 5 documents, we can proceed with an application. So if you're asking me, what about my bank statements? What about my proof of English requirements? What about clearance from police and all of these different things? They're actually not required for applications to Singapore. And because everything is done electronically and everything is very transparent here in Singapore, what you can do is you can just take a photo of your documents with your phone, send them over to us, and we can proceed with an application. So it's that easy. We have world-class education, so some of the top universities in the world are situated in Singapore. Actually, 2 of the universities in Singapore are ranked top in the whole world. Aside from that, Trent Global College has partnered with 2 institutions that are also recognized as some of the top in the world, with Ravensbourne University as ranked number 201 in the entire world, and Harvard University, which is ranked the most recognized institution for built environment. Okay. Let's talk about cost. So initially, we were saying that Singapore is quite affordable, even though all of the articles say that it's quite expensive. So this is what it would cost. to live in Singapore. Food per day is about $15 to $20. Accommodations, you can go today, it's about $500 to $800 per month. Transportation is about $50 to $60 per month. Communications, because we're very high tech, so you probably would not need to spend much on communications. Everywhere has Wi-Fi and everything is high speed internet. Transportation, it's a very, very well connected country, so you can use public transportation, or as a matter of fact, I can take my bicycle and go around the whole country on a Saturday. So communication is quite straightforward, and transportation is quite straightforward. So the highest cost that you would spend on would be accommodation. And I do understand that a lot of people think that it's expensive, but if you're moving to countries like Australia, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, UK, rentals there are paid about $200 to $300 per week, as opposed to Singapore where they're paid per month. So it's a little bit higher than their $300 or $200, but it's paid in a monthly basis. Okay, as for weather, Singapore is known to have tropical weather. We don't have mega typhoons, storms, earthquakes, or volcanoes. Right now, if you can see the beauty of this rainy season and the view from Trent Global College, you can basically see the skyline of Singapore. So who are we at Trent Global College? Trent Global College has been around for about 20 years now. We are offering programs all the way from diploma, advanced diploma, postgraduate diploma, bachelor's degree, master's degree. We've graduated over 12,000 plus students. We have a very high placement rate because Singaporean students are required for assistance in placement for them to get certain grants. And for international students, we have an 85% placement rate. That means students who have graduated from Trent Global College, 85% of them were able to get placements in some of the top companies in Singapore in terms of internships and even full-time jobs. So our culture, our mission and vision, our core values, all of this information is available on our website, trentglobal.edu.sg. So I would recommend to please visit the website so I don't need to talk about these things. Why should you choose Trent Global College? First of all, we're one of the most established private schools in Singapore. We have a very good and high passing rate. We're multicultural, multiracial, so we have students from all over the world. We have students from India, Sri Lanka, Bhutan, Vietnam, China, Taiwan, Thailand, Philippines. We had American students previously. We had students from Middle East. So we're a mix of different cultures and different nationalities. You have relevant and in-demand programs. So all of our programs are geared towards helping students to get jobs immediately after graduation. And this is also why we have a very high placement rate. Our school fees are the most affordable school fees. So if you are able to find any course or any school out there that has more affordable school fees than us, we would probably counter them. We have very reputable lecturers and educational partners. So a lot of our teachers here and lecturers are graduates from NUS and NTU, which are the top universities in the world. And our educational partners, as I mentioned earlier, would be Ravensbourne University, Harvard University, Liverpool John Moores University. These are all UK institutions. And of course, this is our current partner for our bachelor's programs and our master's programs. So all these programs are all internationally recognized. When I went to the UK for a visit a couple of years back, I went to the office of CABE and I went to the lobby and I saw the list of the accredited institutions. And the first thing I saw there was Trent Global College. So we specialize in programs in the built environment, in IT, in food technology and hospitality, in healthcare, and in business. So the list of courses are all available on the website. I don't want to go through them one by one, but I wanted to highlight two specific things today. First would be our Ravensbourne programs. These are our bachelor's programs and our master's programs. So if your goal is to eventually have a pathway program to the UK or move to the UK, or if you find that UK is a bit difficult to get into, or more expensive, then I would recommend studying here in Singapore. You would be able to get your bachelor's degree from Ravensbourne University, London, for a price of $15,500. Of course, if you're Singaporean or if you come from partner institutions that we have, you also do get subsidies and you also do get discounts. This is relatively very, very low compared to the rate that they're offering at London, which is about $21,000. So these are the programs that I'm promoting today. our MBA. So if you're keen on doing an MBA for a very, very low cost, which is internationally recognized, which you can also attend the graduation in the UK, then I would recommend doing your program here in Singapore instead of going to London. I'm also here today to talk about the Study Plus internship program because a lot of people are interested in the internship or the work component of these programs. So here are some of the programs that we have that do have the internship component. Our Diploma in Food Technology, our Advanced Diploma in Food Technology, our Diploma in Building Services, our Diploma in Healthcare Services, our Diploma in Business, Advanced Diploma in Business, and our hospitality programs. So what would be the benefit of studying with these programs with the Study Plus internship? First of all, is you get to stay longer in Singapore to find the job that you want. So a lot of people move to these first world countries like Canada, New Zealand, Australia, because their goal is to migrate or the goal is to get a job, right? Coming to Singapore, of course, as a visitor, you're not allowed to look for a job. However, when you are holding a student pass, you are now legally allowed to look for a job. You're not allowed to work while holding a student visa, not like these other countries, but you are allowed to look for a job. And if any company wants to hire you full-time, all they have to do is submit an application for your work visa, and then you can convert to a work visa and study on a part-time basis. So the longer you stay, the higher the probability of getting jobs. And don't forget, one of the things that I mentioned earlier is that Singapore has a manpower crunch. That means everywhere you go, they are hiring. Okay? So all they need is you to be eligible, and then they can apply for you. Secondly, is you get to gain a Singapore qualification, which is internationally recognized. So if you're talking about programs that are internationally recognized, UK, Europe, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, USA, Singapore is right up there with them. So programs that are taken from Singapore can be directly credited into institutions in the UK, Switzerland, Netherlands, USA, Canada, and Australia. You get to gain Singapore work experience through our internships. So having worked in Singapore, which is a very high-paced, fast-paced and high output type of working environment, you get to enhance your work experience. You get to enhance your resume. Also, I think it's quite known in the world that if you have worked in Singapore, then you're very good at multitasking. Another thing is that you get to earn back 100% of your school fees through paid internships. So these internships allow you to earn a monthly salary, and then the monthly salaries that you earn from these allow you to earn back 100% of the fees that you're paying to us for our school fees. Of course, while you're here, you get to find better opportunities. We have a lot of students here who are able to find pathways to other countries like Canada, New Zealand, Australia. Some of those students are managers here, or they were able to get the permanent residency here, or they were able to find business opportunities here. There's a lot of different things that you can do. Other things are they have a high chance of being absorbed by the companies that they're doing their internship in. So when you've worked for a company for the 6 months internship, a lot of these companies basically have a free trial. So if you're very good at what you do and they need people, then they'll definitely find a way to keep you. All right. Another pointer that I would like to mention is that all our programs are internationally recognized, so they're pathwayed into programs with our partners in UK, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. I did mention earlier also that we have a very easy, probably the easiest application process, affordable fees, which I'm going to show you right now, and you get to live in one of the safest countries in the world. So this is just one of the sample computations. This is not the exact one, but it's a sample computation of what it would look like. So for our diploma in food technology, let's say, for instance, this course we're running, if you visit the website, it's running at like $6,000. When you go for the internship, 6 months internship, roughly the average salary goes for about $1,200. So in 6 months, you are making about $7,000. That means 100% of your school fees are earned back. Then that means the only thing that you would have to spend on would be your cost of living. Now, you are not allowed to work while holding the student visa. Of course, during the internship, yes, you are. But there are legal ways of earning, which would be one, if you work for the school, you get certain types of allowances. Number two, any online job is acceptable. The only reason why you're not allowed to work outside is mainly for insurance purposes. And of course, if you're doing such things like modeling, art stuff, all of these things are okay. All right. Oh, by the way, classes are 3 hours per day, 5 days a week. So whatever you do outside is entirely up to you. If you're going to use that time to go and find opportunities or find work while you're here, that would be great. Hopefully you do get the full-time job and then they apply for your work visas if you're an international student, of course. So as I mentioned earlier, passport, birth certificate, educational qualifications, CV, and photo. And that would be enough to do an application for you. Our graduates are working in some of the top companies in Singapore and some of the top in the world. Cushman & Wakefield is a UK-based company that opened up in Hong Kong and Singapore. Surbana Jurong is an oil and gas company. CBRE, Singtel Telecommunications, UOB, and DBS would be banks. So we do have a lot of student activities, workshops. Just yesterday, students went to the National Museum. Our graduation ceremonies are held here. We normally have it at NUS, but for those students who are studying the Ravensbourne qualifications, you can do your graduation ceremony in London, in the UK.
Thank you so much, Aldo. Well, I really love the part that we only need 5 documents to submit, because the documents are always something that students find it to be complicated and difficult. So I'm glad as students, I believe students find it very helpful. There are a few questions. Let me ask you one by one. The first question, you can find it also in the webinar chat, that there is a student asking, if you came from a Republic of Niger, can they get scholarships as well? Yeah. Okay, and so if possible, yes, continue. Yeah.
Okay. So we do offer scholarships. We have up to 100% scholarships for certain countries, but you have to be those outstanding students or academically standout students. We would have to review your qualifications. So every cohort, we have one student with 100% scholarship, and then we have I believe it's a batch of 10, which have about 50% scholarships. And because most of these programs, you get to earn back your fees through the internships, they find them to be very, very affordable. So even without the scholarships, they probably would be the most affordable in the entire webinar today. We do offer also different discounts according to region. So if you're talking about Southeast Asia, South Asia, Central Asia, Europe, Africa, and South America.
Great. So, which means, to summarize, the nationality doesn't matter, but based on your qualifications and documentations, you'll get to choose who's gonna get the 100% and 50% scholarship.
So the one with the highest qualifications and the highest scores, of course, they will be the most deserving.
Makes sense. So makes sense. So follow-up question is that any tips for students to get scholarships, to prepare to get scholarship other than the documents? Any interview tips?
We go by merit. Of course, if we have 2 students with the exact same scores, then we would have to conduct an interview, and then we'll find out other stuff like extracurricular activities, their participation in community, all of these things.
I see. Noted. Well, it seems like there are a lot of students who are also interested in the class diversity. So some students who are asking, like they're from Nigeria, they're from Zambia, and they're interested in the class diversity. What other nationalities there?
Well, we don't have any students from Africa. Oh, actually, Algeria and Morocco are still African countries, but we don't really have a lot of students from Africa. A lot of our students are from Bhutan, India, Sri Lanka. Southeast Asia would be Thailand, Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, Philippines, China, Taiwan, Korea. These are the places, yeah.
Noted. Wow, quite diverse. Another question is, what is the age limit and school gap limit for diploma courses?
So for Trent, we believe in lifelong learning. So we do have students here who are 40 years old and above. We do accept mature learners. The issue now will be the visa. So the visa is coming from Singapore ICA. And of course, if they don't approve the visa, then student can't study here. From my knowledge, there's no age limit to it. But of course, the older you get, the harder it is to get the visa approval. And that's why I mentioned earlier, whatever country you want to go to in this webinar, any of these schools are all good institutions. If you have the opportunity to go to any one of us, please do and take it as soon as possible, because the longer you wait for it, sometimes those opportunities pass you by.
Yes, sometimes the opportunity, it really depends on timing. So you got to get the right timing. Thanks for the answer. So in talking about the visa, let me ask this question first. You mentioned about the internship opportunities, career opportunities. Is it easy for students to transfer to the work permit, transfer their visa to work permit?
Oh, depends on what you mean by easy, because don't forget, Singapore is a first world country. It's one of the richest countries in the world. So if every single person finds it easy to get a job here, then Singapore would be overflooded with foreigners. However, if you're asking me if there are a lot of available opportunities, and everywhere you look, yes, there are. Because they are being so selective of who they bring in, it is getting very, very competitive. And don't forget, people from all over the world are trying to come into Singapore. So if you are here, you have much better opportunity than those people who are applying from overseas. And then while you're here, now what makes you more employable than other people? So of course, a qualification from Trent. If your English is very good, if you look very well, if you speak very well, all of these add on to the factors of getting employed. But if you're asking if there are many opportunities, yes, there are a lot of opportunities right now in Singapore, because I believe last year had the biggest number of visa approvals for foreigners in the past 10 years.
Wow, that's really unusual because I heard that Singapore is getting stricter and visa system is getting stricter and
They
stricter.
have. They've been getting so strict that it became almost impossible for foreigners to get in. That being said, we already had such a hard time bringing in foreign talent. So
Yeah.
they tightened on a lot of things, but also in 2023 October they announced a lot of changes to the work visas. So they made certain visas like the E-Pass and S-Pass tougher, but then they opened up work permits to more countries. So like I said, that's why we had the biggest number of approvals in the past 10 years. All of this information, you don't have to take my word for it. You can go and visit, because government of Singapore is very transparent. You go and visit Ministry of Manpower, mom.gov.sg.
Mm. Thank you for the resource as well. There's another question regarding tuition fee. So, what is tuition fee annually? I believe it was mentioned in the PPT, but maybe you can present it again.
Yep.
And also, what are your intake periods? So, can you remind the student?
Sure. We have, for diplomas, we have regular intake. So that means every module we have a new intake. So we just keep on pumping in new students. For the diploma programs, it's monthly. For some of the diploma programs, like our IT programs, they are every 3 months. For the bachelor's programs, the master's programs, they are every May, September, and January. And what was the other question aside from the intakes?
Tuition fee annually.
Tuition fee, okay. So the tuition fees are paid per course. So if you're going for the diploma, then you pay for the diploma. And then when you want to progress to the advanced diploma, you pay for the advanced diploma fees. Basically, depends on the duration of the program. So some of the programs run for 1 year. Some of the programs run for 14 months, 18 months. So you would be paying for the entirety of the program. Yes, if I know the next question is going to be, can we pay this in installment? Any fee above $7,000 can be paid on installment basis, yes.
Oh, this one is also the question that has been raised many times, which is the living cost, especially when the students are deciding to study in Singapore. They're a bit quite daunted about the living cost. So what's the average?
Well,
let's say a minimum.
I mentioned earlier that there are a lot of articles saying that Singapore is one of the most expensive cities to live in. And to a certain extent, yeah, it's true, especially if you're a tourist. But if you're working here in Singapore, the living wages are quite good. Especially compared to the type of life that you would have here. But like I mentioned, it's one of the most progressive cities in the world. In terms of cost, I believe I shared earlier what it would be like in terms of food, transportation, communications. I believe roughly you would have about like $650 to $800 per month, Singapore dollars, not US dollars. So it's still relatively low. About 700 Singapore dollars should be sufficient to survive on a monthly basis.
Is that including the accommodation, the dormitory?
Yeah, accommodation, transportation, food, communications.
I see. So 700 Singapore dollar, which is around like 500 USD.
So that's still relatively affordable.
Yeah, that is still affordable. Great. I think we covered most of the questions. Thank you so much, Aldo, for your time. Do you have any last comments that you want to share to our audience?
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you to Global Admissions. Thank you for this opportunity and this platform. And I want to say that if you are contemplating moving overseas, whether it's to Trent Global College or any of the institutions here today, I always recommend people to grab these opportunities because they don't always come around. And of course, if you are thinking to study in one of the best places to study in Singapore, then of course, I'm very excited and looking forward to have you all at Trent Global College. Thank you so much, Kim. Yeah, and thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Aldo. Have a great rest of the day. Bye bye.
Bye bye.